We're live. Okay. What's your name?
I'm Nikki Schumacher. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you for being here. What's your name?
Princess Rose.
And how old are you?
3.
3 years old. Okay. Right. So let's start this story from. Should we start it from when your baby was born? Can you turn back the knob?
Yeah, I think so.
This was in what year?
She was born in 2021, and she died in 3 months later, so 2021. So Glory was born very medically fragile. She had heart defects and all kinds of defects. She had an extra chromosome. It's more painful than her death is hearing like people who, I don't care what church you go to, I've heard people from all different denominations who say they're Christians say really cruel things. So that's why I don't like to share the exact diagnosis.
I totally understand.
But suffice it to say, we found out that she was going to be medically fragile about 5 days before she was born. It showed up on the
scan.
Yeah.
But before, when you had scans, nothing.
It never showed up. I mean, I'm shortening things a lot. There's so much to it because it was hard to find medical care in the first place because of so many people were laid off due to not getting, like a lot of good doctors I think were laid off or were scrambling to figure out what their practices were going to do. So she was born medically fragile, and we were life flighted to Utah to a hospital there.
Did you have a cesarean?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep. She was our fourth daughter, fourth live birth, cesarean. She really wasn't early by any means, and she was very medically fragile. She had heart defects, and we had to fight really hard from the first moment we found out what her diagnosis was probably going to be. We were told to just go home on hospice. Idaho is where we're originally from, was not going to do anything for her, so they referred us to Utah. That was a big mistake because Utah was just as incompetent, and people can, I guess, like a lot of the things that if I can't get through it today just from emotions or whatever, it's on my Instagram, Nikki Schumacher. But she was born, she was medically fragile, and the first time she coded, does everybody know what a code blue is? Like, that's when, like, they think your baby might be dying, and everybody in the whole floor runs in. So we're wearing our masks because it's the rule. We're trying to follow the rules. And she's kicking and screaming for life. Not really screaming because she's intubated, but she's clawing because they couldn't get the tube placed. And so my husband and I are like snot crying into our masks, so we pull them down because we're snot crying. And before the code is like completely cleared off the floor, like once the code is clear, before we've even taken 2 breaths, the head nurse comes in and scolds us for pulling our mask down to snot cry while our kid is code blue. It doesn't even sound real. Like it sounds like a movie. So we ended up breaking a lot of rules like that. Not on purpose, but we'd get really angry when they would make comments to us concerning her extra chromosome, like, are you sure you want to do the surgery? You can just pull the plug, that kind of stuff. We had to really get firm with the hospital for her care, and we talked to our lawyer, and he said that even though we were, how do I say, things like that happened made us problem parents, and we ended up being on security escort for most of her life, which was very short.
Because
That-
of the mask? But
That was one of the long list of things that
Can I just trying to understand this? So she has a chromosomal thing, and you're saying that they were trying. She was due to have some surgery. Was that a heart thing? Maybe.
she had many surgeries she needed to have, but heart surgery was one of them. Yeah.
And they were all saying, "Are you sure you want to do this?"
Every single time we talked to a professional, I mean, I flew to Utah to have a C-section to save the child. All my other kids, so this one, my husband caught her because my births are so easy to, like, he caught her before the midwife even arrived, and it was like painless almost. So we literally flew to Utah to save her, and every medical professional, we were like, please, I understand people have different opinions. That's not us. Can you please stop suggesting us not getting surgeries? Can you please stop suggesting that we don't have to do this? And I eventually escalated my language about that, because talking to other parents, these kids don't get equal treatment, and you kind of have to be a little bit angry to.
So if they were suggesting that you didn't have the surgery, what were they suggesting that you did?
They were saying that we could just, like, take her home or just let her die. But when she first got the diagnosis, we said, well, we have a kid at our church that has the same diagnosis and she's 3 years old. And they said, well, if she has the cognitive dissonance, I'm telling you, I know someone that has this diagnosis. Tons of moms have kids with this diagnosis, and they live to be, if they get the heart surgery and they live through the heart surgery, they have a 50% chance of living to 16. So I'm telling you this, and they're just looking at me and saying, well, she's incompatible with life, so if she has this, just take her home on hospice. That's what Idaho said. So we flew to Utah, and it was kind of more of the same thing. Every single doctor we talked to the first surgeon's credit, he did the surgery, but he said, like, you know, you don't have to do this. And I said, don't say that anymore. And there was a cuss word sprinkled in there, like, stop saying that. And then the mask was an issue, and then
and you always had to wear a mask around your daughter
if there was other staff in the room, because she was fragile, and she did have one surgery to fix a hole in her stomach, and so often she was sedated. So when she was awake, there was staff in the room, and we couldn't pull her mask down and show her. And then when they were out, it seemed like she was always asleep at that time. So in the whole 3 months, she barely saw what we looked like. And there were other things that aren't really related to, like, the mask mandates or anything. I mean, I have it was like on my TikTok and my Instagram, a video of the doctor when I had never been alone with her. It was like maybe her first or second day of life, and I had asked the doctor to just give me a minute, and he's like, no, I really need to talk to you, da da da. And I'm like, I really need a minute. I just really need a minute. And he can continue to talk, and I have like 30 minutes of him just continuing to talk before I finally say, look, I need a minute with my child. And so she went into that was the last day I ever heard her voice, because she was going to get intubated after that. So I never heard her voice again, and he stole those moments. Like, any joy that we could have had with our times with her, there was always some disrespectful medical person that they don't think it's your kid while they're staying at the hospital. It's their kid. And legally, that's kind of how they see it. So there was a lot of incompetence. The final clincher was we found a doctor who had saved like a lot of babies like Glory, and the hospital that she was at in Utah failed to transfer her and told us that they had started that process and they were lying. So she by the time that yeah, by the time we figured it out, it was really too late. So only God knows if she could have lived, and I do believe God is sovereign, and we don't weep like those without hope. We know that she's only sleeping, but at the same time we have to share, because other people need to know. Like, the biggest mistake we made was setting foot in the wrong hospital in the first place, because once you're there, you can be put on security duty and then they won't release your child.
Yeah, talk to me a bit about what happened with that. You said you had security around you?
All the little things we did, like they caught me videoing and taking pictures without permission.
Of your child?
Yeah. But I literally did not know, like, what? Doesn't every, like, what? They saw it as a threat, I think, because honestly, I think there was a lot of incompetence that they had caught in themselves, and they were scared of us. So there was the masking issue, the anger issue, I had taken pictures and videos, literally not knowing. They said, well, we're afraid you're trying to catch us doing something, and I'm like, whoa. I wasn't before, but I am now. So yeah, I'm taking pictures of my own child was a big reason why I was put on security.
And what does that look like? Because you weren't allowed to stay with her the whole time, or were you?
Not really. I did just sleep on the kind of like this pull out, but it's not like we had.
And there was security there the whole time?
No, they just escorted me to and from. It was a big joke because I was in a wheelchair the first 2 weeks of security.
Because you had a cesarean?
Yeah, so I'm really a threat. I've got a knife wound to the stomach. Yeah, I'm a real threat. The security guys were actually very nice, and probably deep down they thought it was a big joke as well. And the end of the story is that Drew, my husband, was actually fired for not getting the vaccine the same day that Glory died. So that was just poetic, I think. So then the minute she died, we really
Were you with her when she died?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. We, of course, once she really was dying, the mask mandates, thankfully, I guess, it's so sick. Like, they have you with Stockholm syndrome. Like, they're being so nice to you because since she's dying, we'll really let you pull your mask down now. But they were telling us she was dying the whole time, so it's kind of confusing. But yeah, I was holding her when she passed away, and we had our favorite nurses and everything. Like, the nurses mostly were lovely people. Most of them have no idea the evil system that they're working for, and a lot of people get that mixed up. When we share our story, they accuse us of like hating medical personnel, and that's not it at all. The system has an algorithm, and our daughter didn't make the cut, and the tune of her bills was, I think, 1.2 million for just laying there and receiving not even a percentage of the treatments that would have been life-saving. So I think having her lay there and not be transferred to another hospital that was willing to try to give her the surgery is really, legally, it's scary because the hospital has tried to follow me on, they probably follow me on social media still. Like, I've caught them following me on social media with fake accounts, and they've admitted to following me on social media with fake accounts. I have to be careful how I word things because they're not above suing bereaved parents postmortem. But yeah, it's a money grab, in my humble
Have you
opinion.
met other parents that have gone through a similar thing as you?
Yeah, with the same diagnosis. Yeah, you have to fight and do this like song and dance around the fires that are coming at you, like the Super Mario game. You know, like you dodge this and then you dodge that, and we had a very short amount of time to get all the information we needed, and by the time we found the doctor that had a lot of experience with Lori's diagnosis, like he'd saved a lot of babies and he was willing to try, which was the main thing, then it was pretty much too late. By the time we found him, and And he was like, yeah, send the records over, we're willing. And then the hospital lied to us multiple times, saying that they had started that process, and they failed to do that. So, and then when we realized it, we felt so stupid. Like, we had believed them that because we were in contact with this hospital that was willing, like they had a doctor that was willing, a neonatal heart surgeon, and we were in contact with our hospital and wanting to transfer her over and start that process. And they had said, and multiple times, that they had started the process and they hadn't. So, and by the time we realized that, it was too late, pretty much. So, yeah. So then the trauma was compounded because Drew was fired the same day she died. So we had to sell our house. I don't know that we had to, but in our grief, this is what we felt like we had to do. We sold our house. Andrew changed careers. He got a way better job. And we've been traveling ever since. So we love Idaho. It has a lot of good people there, but we didn't feel like we could stay there anymore.
What is your advice to parents who have been told they've got some kind of diagnosis, no matter what it is, and their newborn will be kept in hospital? Do you have any advice for those parents?
Yeah, honestly, if I could do it over again, which is kind of a misnomer, because I don't believe in regrets with the sovereign God, but it would be to find the hospital that has a track record with your baby's diagnosis, to find that first before you fly into somewhere. Once your baby is delivered in that hospital, you might not be able to get them out without like an army. So don't go to the wrong hospital first. And so there are hospitals that are known for, and this one is known for that. Like, there are many other moms reached out to me about that hospital. They're really low in neonatal heart conditions. Like, they're bad. But if they're bad at it, why don't they let you take your kid somewhere else? So, and the
story is so important. It's so tragic, so important.
Yeah.
We hear a lot that children or babies with disabilities of any kind are not treated the same way as those. No,
they're not treated the same, because she died of heart failure and from something that a heart defect that many people have had surgery for and survived. So
thank you for speaking out. Thank you, and tell people again what your Instagram is or how people can follow you.
Yeah, I have a YouTube channel. Everything's still up on it. Pretty much died when Glory died. I just didn't have but it's all still there. Nikki Schumacher Official.
How are you spelling Schumacher?
Nikki Schumacher, NIKKISCHUMACHER. And then I'm very active on Instagram. You can kind of, you can see a lot more to the story there. There's so much to it. The hospital system you guys aren't naive to. I've been watching y'all for years, so it's not like I was naive to it, but till you look it in the face, they're not above anything. So maybe this is too religious for some of the audience, but it's true. I feel like we've given the hospitals over to Molech. But they sacrifice the most vulnerable ones. So,
listen, thank you so much. All we're hearing what are we on, day 4? And viewers, you must be seeing this too, is hospital murders. That's all we're hearing.
Yeah, I can't legally say that she was murdered because parents have reached out to me and said like that they got sued or whatever, even though their kid really did have wrongful death. Like, you have to be careful what you say on. I would probably speak more strong if I could, but legally.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.
All right. Okay.